On July 20th, 1969, humanity changed forever. This is the story of courage, risk, and impossible ambition. This is Apollo 11. But to understand Apollo 11, we must go back to a time when the world was locked in a silent battle of science and power. The year is 1961. The Cold War grips the globe, and the Soviet Union shocks the world with the launch of Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space. Determined, President John F. Kennedy steps before Congress and declares, "We choose to go to the moon." A promise no nation had ever dared to make. A mission with technology that did not yet exist. Over 400,000 engineers, scientists, technicians, and workers unite. Their task: build the Saturn V, the most powerful rocket ever created by mankind. The Saturn V stands 110 meters tall, a skyscraper of fire and steel. Each stage, each bolt, each line of code would become part of the greatest gamble in human history. NASA chooses 3 men, 3 astronauts who represent the peak of courage and discipline. Neil Armstrong, calm, almost quiet, a pilot known for surviving the impossible. Buzz Aldrin, brilliant, intense, a master of orbital mechanics. Michael Collins, sharp, loyal, the man destined to fly alone around the moon. Together, they train for years. Simulators malfunction, rockets explode. Computers crash, but the 3 men press forward. July 16th, 1969. Cape Kennedy, Florida. The Saturn V roars like a thunderstorm tearing open the sky. At 9:32 a.m., the world watches in silence. The ground trembles. The rocket rises, slow at first, then unstoppable. Apollo 11 is on its way to the moon. 3 days in deep space. 500,000 miles of darkness and silence. The crew performs course corrections, checks instruments, and stares out the window at Earth, a glowing blue sphere shrinking into the void. Michael Collins later recalls, "It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen." But the true danger lies ahead. Chapter 6. Descent to the Moon. Narrator. July 20th, 1969. Armstrong and Aldrin begin their descent. Suddenly, a computer alarm screams. 12:02, 12:01. The computer is overloaded. For a moment, the world holds its breath. Mission Control analyzes the error and decides to push forward. But a bigger challenge awaits. As Eagle approaches the surface, Armstrong sees the landing site is deadly, filled with rocks, boulders, and a giant crater. So he grabs manual control. Fuel begins running dangerously low. 60 seconds. 30 seconds. Dust rises beneath the landing legs. Then, thud. Buzz Aldrin. Contact light. Neil Armstrong. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Mission Control erupts in cheers, tears, and disbelief. Chapter 7. The First Step. Narrator. 6 hours later, Neil Armstrong climbs down the ladder. The world watches live. His boot touches the lunar dust. Armstrong. That's one small step for a man. One giant leap for mankind. Human history has changed. Buzz Aldrin follows, describing the moon as a magnificent desolation. They plant the flag, collect samples, conduct experiments, and deploy a mirror that still reflects lasers from Earth today. Chapter 8. The Loneliest Man in History. Narrator. Above them, orbiting alone, Michael Collins circles the moon in silence. He loses radio contact every time he passes behind the far side. No human in history has been farther from any other living soul. Chapter 9. The Journey Home. Narrator. After 21 hours on the moon, Armstrong and Aldrin blast off to rejoin Collins. The return is delicate, precise, and dangerous. A tiny mistake could strand them forever, but the docking succeeds. Apollo 11 begins the long journey home. On July 24th, 1969, the capsule splashes down in the Pacific Ocean. The world erupts in celebration. Cities ring bells, children cheer, strangers hug in the street. Humanity had done the impossible. Chapter 10. A Legacy for All Humankind. Narrator. Apollo 11 is more than a mission. It is a symbol of unity, of ambition, of the human desire to explore the unknown. For one brief moment, the whole world looked up at the same sky and believed in something greater. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins became the faces of a new era. An era proving that when humanity dreams, and dares, and refuses to give up, nothing is out of reach. Closing line. Narrator: we went to the moon not because it was easy, but because it was hard. Thank you, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss more amazing facts.